Hi guys, it's DeAnn Dillard, and today I have with me Angela Fazio. Angela and her husband Chuck have been top producing real estate agents. They ran a top team and were the owners of the single largest independent brokerage in the world. They now run an international real estate business with over 7,000 agents worldwide, and they were named one of the top 125 most successful business leaders in Success Magazine for 2022. Angela, that's a lot. Thanks for being with me today.
I am so thankful that you're having me on today. The topic that we're going to discuss today is one of my favorites. So thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've talked to a lot of team leaders recently, and they're talking about how to scale up and grow their business. So I thought you were the perfect person to bring on and talk about team building. But before we get into it, I know you and Chuck met in real estate, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
my very first day. So I met my husband my very first day in real estate, and I have a book, so I'm gonna tout my book because we tell our story of how we met, which is hilarious because we did not get along at first, not at all. But we did partner up that year, and we literally were so broke. I think we were partnered for like 6, 7, 8 months, and absolutely nothing was happening. And then finally, we had like 5 deals in escrow, and they all fell out in December. All of them fell out of escrow. And we thought, oh my God, I was like almost 30, about to move in with his parents. I'm like, do you think they'll take my baby? Because I was like, I had a baby. And so we know what it feels like to really struggle in real estate. I mean, thank the Lord, things turned around. And the next year we sold 12 million, and then 17.5 million, and then 22 million, and then 40 million. And we just, the light bulb went on, like we got it. And there's a lot of things about our industry that are broken. And I experienced part of it in the beginning, the brokenness of our industry. And so we went on to raise a really great team. And our brokerage had 906 agents. And we were closing like 6,000 transactions a year, totally blessed, but we shut it all down because we saw some ways that EXP fixes the problems that we were literally seeing, experiencing, hearing about. So, I mean, I love our journey and all of the struggles and all of the victories. But right now I'm the happiest I've ever been in real estate.
That's incredible. So just to backtrack a little bit, why did you keep going if you weren't selling anything for 8 months? If people don't sell anything 3 or 4 months, then they're like, I'm out, right?
Well, the truth is both Chuck and I are D's on the disc. We're drivers. And we're like, there's no way we're going to fail at this.
Yeah.
If these bozos are doing it, we can do it. Right. And that sounds a little harsh, but that's what we were thinking. We're like, I'm watching people do this, so it can be done. And I'm not going to fail, because I did not want a job. Yeah. I did not want to work for somebody. And I knew that I didn't want to be broke because it feels horrible. We just didn't give up. We didn't give up. That's just our nature, not to give up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So let's talk a little bit about team building and how you started. Like, how did you guys get started? What did you do? How did you grow?
Okay. So the funny thing is we didn't intend to start a team. When we left, I started at a Keller Williams. I'm not bashing Keller Williams. That's where I started. And when we left there, and our 2 of the girls because we were on a team. And so I have the experience of being on a team. I have the experience of running a team, and I have experience building massive teams. Right. Mm-hmm. And so when we left, 2 girls said, hey, Chuck and Angela, we want to be on your team. And we're like, our team? We don't have a team, and we're broke. Why would you want to be on 2 broke people's team? Yeah. But the truth is they were motivated by how hard we would work, and our attitude and our enthusiasm to not quit. And so we're like, okay, we'll start a team. That's how it started. The way that we grew is at first it was just word of mouth. But then once we went, wait a minute, this is another way to make money in real estate. We intentionally recruited. And the first thing I'll say about team building is it takes massive recruiting to grow something successful and large. So some people just think, if I have a team, they will follow. Maybe a couple people will, maybe a couple people will be attracted to you, but it's really as intentional as looking for buyers and sellers. It's just a lot easier in some ways if you have the right value propositions, which I want to talk about, because real estate agents all have, their name in lights. So you have to guess who's going to buy or sell. You don't have to guess who's a real estate agent, right?
That's true. Yeah. So what made you attractive so that you could grow your team to 906 people?
Well, now at the brokerage, we were extremely intentional with our value propositions, creating and developing value propositions. And even now, because my entire job is to help agents to succeed, right? And so I had to get really good at identifying what people want as in their real estate career, and then coming alongside them with true value so that I become something they need, right? So for example, my value propositions now, we've developed some around agents who just want more production. We've created systems and value propositions around people who want to create, form, and grow teams. And the same thing about building an organization. So a value proposition has to solve an agent's problem or help them to accomplish their goals in ways that they probably wouldn't without you. So that's what we really got good at as time went on, is identifying what agents want, creating those value propositions, and then shouting out what that value proposition is over and over and over to find out who's going to want that from you.
You talked about recruiting. So it seems to be a dirty word in this business, but all businesses recruit, right? Like you can't run a business without bringing people into that business.
You want to hear something hilarious, DeAnn?
Yeah.
There's not a brokerage alive that's successful. Now, there are some really crappy brokerages that aren't successful, of course, but there's not a brokerage alive that's successful that doesn't concentrate on recruiting. It's just like an agent who has no sphere of influence looking for buyers and sellers. You're a recruiter. Exactly. You're recruiting buyers and sellers. So to me, recruiting is not a bad word whatsoever, because I'm only looking for people who are looking for me. People who have goals and have problems and they want my help to solve them. So I have no problem with the word recruiting. I feel like I have what they need, some of them, whoever they are. And so if I don't tell the world about them, I'm not going to find those people who need what I have. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's really positive.
Yeah, I agree with that so much. So do you have time that you set aside for recruiting, or did you back then? Like, how much time should a team leader put into that? They're trying to sell houses, they're trying to teach the people that they have, and then they're trying to build a team. So do you treat that as a part of your daily routine?
Yes. Well, let's talk about that. So I want to talk really specifically about teams and their pain points, right? But first, I'll talk about the recruiting. The reason why some teams are stagnant or not growing or not achieving the level that they want to achieve is because they aren't putting in enough effort for recruiting, and they get really, really disappointed when an agent leaves. And so it's a churn. And that's just the truth. Sometimes team leaders have this misconception that if you deliver enough value, people will stay with you forever. And that's just not true. And it doesn't matter how great your value proposition is. So I'll give you an example. So we grew every single year when we were growing our brokerage. We still grow every single month, with our organization. And it's because we're recruiting more than we're losing, right? Look at the statistics. If you're the most amazing team leader in the world and you're full of value, you still can't predict if an agent's going to be successful or not. They can be totally ready to be successful and have everything they need, and something can go wrong in their life, or they just don't feel like working, or there's so many reasons why real estate agents fail. Because I went into the brokerage business thinking I'm going to solve all the problems and everyone's going to come and no one's going to leave and everyone's going to be successful because I can solve their problems. Well, that was ridiculous. Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if you can solve their problems. They're not always going to listen to what you have to say.
So you have to be, you have to be a crazy recruiter in order to build and have positive growth. because you're going to have attrition. You can't help it. And that's one of the things team leaders, they don't grow because they don't want to recruit, or they have this mental block against recruiting. Or here's a really funny one. They are looking for the perfect fit for their team. Now, I want to speak to that too, because that's really important. I'm not downplaying that culture piece. It's really important. So here are the pain points that I see for teams I saw over and over and over, even at our brokerage. They are recruiting not enough, right? Or they meet somebody, they're not a good fit for the team, and they let them go to someone else. That's a pain point that team leaders don't even know they have, right? Or you get an agent, you pour all of this effort into them, and then they suck. And you're like, I just wasted all this time. Or conversely, you pour all your energy into an agent, they become highly successful, and they go, thank you so much. Now I'm going to go start my own team, right? That's a pain point. Like, in your heart, you want to cheer them on, but you're also like, damn, like, I did this. I helped you do this. At our brokerage, what would happen is team leaders would be really great at what they do. And then the people would leave the team, but not our brokerage. Right. And so they have to walk by him every day going, hey, right. And so
keep going.
So those problems, when I learned what EXP is, let me tell you how, and but I'm going to tell you when I saw, because people were like, you shut down that brokerage, you were making a lot of money. Yeah, we were, but I knew that it could be better, right? And it is, by the way. And so now team leaders, when I help team leaders grow here, almost all of those pain points are solved. And I'm going to tell you how. Leverage and the model. So number one, team leaders, sometimes they don't want to be team leaders or they don't want to grow because they know how much time it takes to train the agents.
Yes.
I mean, whether they're getting them new or they're breaking experienced agents' bad habits, whatever that is, it's time consuming. And here with us, you have so much leverage of your partners that you can look around and say, okay, which of my partners does a really good job training this? Or what does EXP do a really good job of training? And you can leverage and put together a training program that's almost not you. You know what I mean? Yes. And so maybe you hate training about your local contract, but you love training about your sphere of influence. And so you can leverage those around you to help. And at a traditional brokerage, that doesn't work so well. Because what happens? I like that trainer. I'm going to go leave you and join them, but that doesn't happen with us because of our model. I can give everything that I have to one of my agents, and then they can decide to go join another team and I don't lose them.
100%.
So now team leaders, are the teams that moved over with us. I mean, they are like, pinch me, I don't have to do all the training. If I interview somebody and they're not a good culture fit for my team, I can still hire them, but just not on my team. Right. Yeah. And it just, and when a team member is killing it because of their efforts and they go, you know what, thank you so much, I'm going to go build my own team. We're like, right on, let me help you.
Yes. Because what I was going to mention is we want them to grow and to do better and then to leave us, right? And that they can go do their own team. And we're still benefiting. We're still involved in their career. And it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah. And now I don't look at another team and go, that's my competition. I say, hey, let's not be competitors. Let's be partners. Come on over here. And not only will you no longer be my competition, but I will be your advocate and your partner, and we'll grow together. What a mind shift. Yeah. It's incredible.
Completely incredible. Yeah. So talk a little bit about that training that there is and the collaboration and what makes that different and how does that help your team?
Okay. So even at a brokerage level, this was the experience. We were in charge of all the training. We had to make sure all of our value propositions were on point. We had to make sure everything so that they wouldn't be lured away by another shiny object. Yes. But here you can position yourself, have the benefits of EXP, which I'll explain in a minute, and the benefits of your organization, which is by the best description is who you choose to join with, right? Yes. And so what EXP allows you to do is you could literally handpick the education in the cloud or in our metaverse, right? And here's the thing that you know about our metaverse. And what I'm referring to as the metaverse is our cloud-based environment, right? When you go into our metaverse and you learn, say, about cryptocurrency and real estate, or you're learning about which nobody teaches except for our company, by the way, right? Yes. Or if you want to learn about how to be a great listing agent, or you want to learn about open houses, the people who are teaching you in our metaverse or in our world are experts. They are killing it in that area. So now let's backtrack, compare, contrast. As a team leader or broker owner, I'm their whole resource, however I put that together.
Yes.
Over here at EXP, my resources have just become literally unlimited. And it's my value proposition because I can also add my own expertise to that person, so that they'll say, not only do I want what your company offers, but I want what you offer, and I can have it all. Yes. No other company can touch that. It's just impossible. The reason why it's impossible, it's because of limited resources. Even the franchise offices, even if there's bazillions of franchise offices, they're still limited by their roof or their local people. We just don't have that limitation. So the experience is incredible. And now you can focus on what you think your superpower is and add that to the pot. And then who your other people in your organization's superpowers are, add that to the pot. And the experience as an agent at EXP is so rich. It's so rich because we get to leverage each other. And you can't accomplish that anywhere else. We really tried.
Yeah, you can't. I've had people ask me about the training, and I'm like, there's so much training that you could not even get on all the training. If there's anything you want to know, like, the playbook is open, everybody's sharing. There's no secrets. And in other brokerages that I've been at, and I reached out and said, hey, how do I do this? Especially when I was starting, it was always like just this little bit, make a farm. But nobody was opening the playbook and saying, this is the system I use. This is how I do it step by step. And it's incredible. Anything that you want to know is there in the training.
Yeah. And the other difference is, let's say, in our antiquated business, we may have these masterminds, right? So you get together at this mastermind, and you get a few little nuggets. And the thing about a mastermind is, normally, unless you're paying somebody, this isn't traditional real estate, you're paying somebody or, something.
Yes.
You go home and you're like, wait a minute, I thought I understood what they said, but now I can't figure out how to do this or roll it out, or I'm missing this piece, or I missed something. You don't go back to the people in the mastermind and say, hey, can you spend an hour with me explaining this? They're gonna be like, heck no. I'm not going to sit. I mean, a few people will. Now, there's somebody in your audience right now going, but I would share with anyone. And that's true, but that's not typical. Typically, mastermind over, sharing's over, right? Yeah. If you didn't get enough here, if I were to sit down with you and ask you a question about something that you're an expert in, we have a valued interest in each other. If I call you back later and say, hey, I missed this, can you re-explain it to me? Or can you just send me your PowerPoint? Or you'd be like, heck yeah, because you want me to succeed in a big way. Right. Because we're financially aligned. And that's all the difference in the world.
Yeah, it's incredible. You and Chuck are like the top 10 earners in the entire company of 81,000 agents. And I was thinking before we got on here, I'm fortunate enough to be hanging out with you at these events, and I get to call you my friends. And if it was any other model, I'd have to pay a lot of money to be in that room with those people. And I wouldn't get to send you a message and say, hey, pop on an interview with me. It wouldn't be that level of collaboration and the people that we get to talk to and hang out with.
Absolutely. I say this all the time. I say it all the time that if somebody was wanting to build a brokerage, wouldn't you want to partner with us? We did it very, very successfully. And people would be like, yeah. And I'm like, well, you wouldn't be in another model. You wouldn't be able to afford me. I wouldn't give you my time. It wouldn't make any sense. Right. Yes. It's a whole, and that's why and I know it's kind of a cliche phrase we say here. We say it's making real estate fun again. I saw it in your intro. And I saw this really hot guy in your intro too.
Yeah, he looks familiar, right?
He's my husband, guys. And so, I mean, making real estate fun again, it sounds cliche, but with all my heart, I really am having a lot more fun today. And here's why. As a team leader, as a broker owner, I started out with the intention of whatever it is. You had this dream, or you wanted to help people, or whatever it was. I want to make money, whatever. But as time goes on, the bigger you grow, the more complicated it gets. Maybe you have employees. Maybe you have to do all the training, and maybe you have more people to handle. And so when I started the brokerage, I had this heart for making agents great, right? And as we grew, what I realized is instead of spending the majority of my time making agents great, I was spending the majority of my time managing staff, looking at lawsuits, reviewing paperwork, all these, doing administration. I mean, I was doing, even if I hired people to do it.
You say administration.
Oh, God, that makes me want to take a blunt object and poke my eye out with it. But that's not my sweet spot. And then I realized after 15 years of running a brokerage, I was doing what I loved like this much of the time. And the rest of my time, I was like doing stuff I had to do. And so now I've flipped that around. I get to spend most of my time doing what I love and not as much time doing those other things that I don't love so much. What a difference that makes in the joy that you have and the blessing that you can be to other people. It's night and day.
So you had 906 agents when you left, right?
Yes.
And now you have 7,000 agents.
Yes.
So first of all, why would you even look at another option when you're so successful up here?
I'll tell you the reason. So the first thing is literally we saw some of those pain points I talked to you about, team leaders. We saw EXP solve it instantly just by the model. That's one. Also, people were always asking us to coach them, always asking us out of state, open up another revelation. I'd be like, hell no, I'm not, but I'm not. That's crazy. And so this was a way that, and I love the leverage thing is one of the things that just blew my mind, right? That we are not the end all of resources. There's at EXP, resources are all around you, and you don't know how good they are until you get into it. Yeah. They're so good and so plentiful. And so it's just solved all of these problems. And then the simple thing about healthcare, sometimes when I talk to agents, I have them at group healthcare. That one thing, I save $1,000 a month from my old healthcare, and I have better coverage. I mean, even that practical portion of EXP solves agents' problems. And so, and now I have all these income streams. I have this passive income stream through the recruiting portion. And so, listen, this is so funny because one of my best friends is Kristen Cantrell, who she was one of the best recruiters we ever had, the best recruiter we had when we had our brokerage. And when we shut the brokerage down, she cried. You're taking away my baby. We're like, listen, girl, you're going to get your license and you're going to now do exactly what you're doing now, but you're going to build yourself your own business. And she has far exceeded anything that we could have paid her. And at Revelation, what we all learned is recruiting is lifeblood. We already knew that. But the majority of our agents didn't come from Kristen, the recruiter. It came from our agents who loved where they were and wanted other agents to experience what they were experiencing. And what did we do to thank them? Maybe a Starbucks gift card. And so when I realized the person who does that either organically or who wants to get intentional with attracting agents, now they get money. They get money and it grows. And every month it comes and somebody puts money in my bank account just because I'm out there helping agents to achieve that's like I'm getting paid to do my passion. It's crazy. Yes. And so that once I saw, and I really wrapped my mind around that, I'm like, we can bless way more people than 906 agents if we do it this way.
It's incredible. At the beginning of like spring, I always see the award ceremonies from all the past brokerages that I've been at and all the realtors I know. And then like, oh, you're in the Royal Club or $1 Million Club or whatever. And I'm like, wow, I'm in the Rev Share Club.
I say to agents all the time, I'm like, especially sometimes I'll be on a Zoom and I'll see like all their awards behind them. Yes. And I'll be like, hey, see all those awards behind you? They're like, yeah. I go, you know what EXP gives you for doing stuff like that? Money. So would you rather have a shelf full of awards collecting dust, or would you like some money? So it's crazy.
Stock.
Yes, a huge portfolio of stock. It's exciting, and I don't really care if when I talk to people if they don't get it, because for every one person who doesn't get it and who can't think, like there is not an agent around, except here's the exception, an agent that really is just kind of doing it part-time and they're just doing it for fun, right? They just do it maybe for a hobby, or they just want to do a couple of transactions a year. Perhaps we aren't for them, but there's not a professional agent around that I am not 100% convinced can catapult their business to a whole nother level by being in this kinds of environment and having multiple streams of income. It's crazy. I don't even know what to say.
How long did it take you to get from to 906 agents and then to 7,000 agents? Because did you lose agents when you moved over? How did your agents?
Yes. Okay. This is a great story. It took us 15 years to get to 906 agents. Like almost to the day, 15 years. And we grew every year. Mm-hmm. Now here's a funny story. In January of 2018, my husband left our brokerage and went to EXP with the thought process of growing outside of Arizona. Mm. Well, he didn't do anything for like a year because he just didn't. He didn't believe in it. He didn't even try to get into it. Mm-hmm. And then about a year, maybe a little over a year in, he started looking around going, wait a minute, this is really good. Why am I not paying attention? And so we started talking about how he should get busy. And then all of a sudden it turned to, wait a minute, are we doing the right thing by our agents? So at the 1.5 year mark, we started praying. We started praying and not sleeping, going, oh my gosh, are we going to close our brokerage down? No, we would never do that. Why would we do that? That'd be ridiculous. What a huge risk. People would think we're crazy. But then obviously we did. So I will count the entire time, but he wasn't working the first 1.5 years. It took probably 4 years, to be honest, to 4 years. That's it. And I've only been working at EXP for 2 years. So the growth potential is, now we're extreme. And when we closed our brokerage, out of 906 agents, only 300 came with us.
So you lost half, or more than half.
We lost over 600 agents.
Oh my God.
Because this is what happened. We decided to close the brokerage at the end of February. COVID hit 2 weeks later.
Oh.
And before we went through our process of telling our agents, we had a leak, and like all these real estate brokerages pounced. So we've gotten quite a few of those back. But I was like, holy shit. Am I allowed to say that? I'm like, oh my God, what did we do? For a minute, my heart sank into my belly. Like, what have we done?
Yeah. You just screwed yourself.
Yeah. But no, bounced back. Yeah. Thank God.
How long did it take you to get to 7,000 agents?
So he started in 2018, didn't start working until 2019. So 3.5 years.
That's unbelievable.
I know. I can't even believe, pinch me. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
We spend a lot of time though, intentionally. First of all, it's the grace of God. It is definitely the grace of God. That is the first reason why we got there so fast. Mm-hmm. And then we do dedicate ourselves. If someone wants to grow and learn to grow, we have dedicated ways to help them figure that out, right? Mm-hmm. So we don't just sit here, okay, everyone, go, do something. We literally spend all of our time pouring into whatever they say they want to accomplish.
Yeah, that's incredible. I'm in your group for women, the Power Women group. And when I first got into this group, I was like, oh my gosh, she's just here helping us build our teams. Mm-hmm. And the collaboration is amazing. And there's all these women on there, and you're spending that hour every couple of weeks and just teaching all of us how to do the same thing, how to build a team. It's really incredible.
Yep. And it's fun. It's rewarding. Right.
That is fun.
Where else are you going to go and do that for free? You know, who's going to do that? And it's just, it's worth it. I wish I could unzip everybody, stuff what I know about this experience in them and zip it back up, but it doesn't work that way.
No, I wish the same thing. It's like I say sometimes, it's like Jesus, when you know Jesus and you're like, you want to tell everybody, right? You're like, don't you see it?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
so similar. Yeah,
it's
so
exactly right.
It is, right? And you just want them to see. So how did it moving over change your life personally?
Now you have to understand, my husband and I are best friends. We have always run all of our businesses together. In 21 years, I've spent only like 2 nights away from him. And that's because he was in the hospital with COVID, right? We are inseparable. And so it's been really drastic because we are both experiencing getting into like our favorite part of the business, which is recruiting and helping agents to succeed. And so it's not just me that's reinvigorated and filled with joy. It's him too. And some of the things that we really love to do, it's given us money freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. We love to travel. So now when we used to go away, we would joke, but you know, something's going to fall apart at our brokerage and it's going to go to crap. And you know, when we get back, we're going to have to clean up the mess, you know, and now that doesn't happen. You know, I can be a week in Vegas, you know, enjoying great food and shows and doing the same work that I would be doing in my house. So it's really given us, it's just everything's better. Yeah. You know, I tell people I've been happy broke and I've been happy with money, and it's a lot more fun to be happy with money. It's a lot more fun, you know? So it's just an incredible experience. And the other thing that I didn't expect, like I've always been fulfilled by seeing other people succeed. But when you watch other people succeed and you pour into them and they're your partners, that's a different feeling. That's like, it's like Kristen, I've always wanted her to succeed. She's one of my best friends in the world. But now I watch her succeed, but she's rising up as my partner and not my employee. That person's rising up as a partner and not my agent. It's a different experience. So I can't even tell you how great it is.
Yeah, that's incredible. I have a question here from a viewer. It says, how do Chuck and Angela work out their responsibilities of working together?
We are the same person. Like you put our DISC assessments together, we're the same people. So we don't, yes, of course he has some strengths I don't have and I have some strengths he doesn't have, but our skill sets are very similar. So what's interesting is when we first started working together, we had to not step on each other's toes because we're both such drivers. But now, I mean, that's long worked out. So we work very, very well together. We do have to hire for administration because both of us hate it. Right. So we have to hire because we
do not do administration. Yeah.
So I can do it, but it drains my energy. And I want to give that job to somebody who it lights up, you know? And so we do have to hire to those types of weaknesses. But we work really well together. You know, I'm humble enough to know that some people relate better to him and he's the same. But we run all of our businesses 24/7 together.
That's amazing. How fun is that?
This is how stupid it is. I went to work this morning by myself because he stayed home. I had to go in to do podcast tapings. Yeah. And this morning I left at 8:00 and I didn't think I was going to see him until 4:30. And then he came in to drop something off at work at like 1:30. I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen you all day. I know that sounds pathetic after 21 years, but that's how we are. We like are never apart.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. So you wrote a book, right? Did you write the book together or was that your book?
I wrote it, but it's our story. It's called, I'll show you. And it's really like literally if somebody in your audience wants it and they don't want to pay for it, it's on Amazon. It's called Mastering Your Real Estate Career. And it's a very helpful book. It's easy to read. It's got some funny stories in it, so it's entertaining. But I really believe now, just because so many people have told me, it's super helpful for the mindset. So when somebody says you have to work hard in real estate to be successful, literally, this will put a frame around that. What does work hard mean? The only thing I would have to redline in this book is I wrote this when we owned our brokerage. And as a broker owner, all of our training was on a schedule, so I have a chapter in here that part you can't do real estate part-time. At EXP, yes, you can. Because the resources, the training, the tools are available when you're not working. And so that's the only part I rescind out of this book. But if somebody doesn't want to pay for it, I will be glad to send them a copy. Just let me know where I need to send it. Or you can get it on Amazon. The audiobook is on Amazon, and you can order them as well.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for taking time out of your schedule and joining me. If people do want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
So my Instagram handle is Iconic Power Couple. That's the same on Facebook. And you can, if you Google me, you can find my phone number. You can find my email. It's angelafazio2@gmail.com. You guys can reach out with questions or requests. I'm happy to respond. I'm super easy to get in touch with.
You're going to get a lot of text.
480-570-8070. Text
All
away.
right. All right, Angela, I really appreciate you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.